What's up, y'all? LTJ Reads is here. This is Throwing Light, and if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. Episode 104. I've got Alex Seidel here, Mr. San Francisco Eagle Leather 2024. Hey, we're here.
Hi.
We're
Yes.
finally here. We're finally here from you getting off stage and saying that you're ready to do this show. um. So yeah, I mean, people would have to really kind of know your story to know that you did not come on the stage when you wanted to. Things got kind of real for you, right?
Right. Yeah.
So let me tell you this. So okay, yeah. So Alex is a part of IML Class 47 that just got done, showing it up on stage. Alex got top 20, pretty amazing. You see his IM. I should have my medal on. He has got a medal right there. It looks pretty right under him. So yeah, you were supposed to compete in IML 46.
Correct.
So would you care to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I was supposed to compete in IML 46 back in 2024 with you and Jamal and everyone. The about a week before IML, I was hospitalized for 4 days with pulmonary emboli, which is blood clots to your lungs, and I had two of them that were I which were symmetrical in placement and size, so I called them the twins. Um, uh,
That's a great, that's a optimistic way to look at it.
Optimistic way of looking at it. And so I was hospitalized for 4 days, not allowed to travel pretty much at all for 6 weeks. Um, and so I had medically had to withdraw uh, almost a week to the day from registration and opening ceremonies. IMO was really great. The immediate response from Miguel and the team was your priority now is to get better. Your priority now is not this. This contest will be here next year. You will be here next year. Um, and so it started the clock again. But weirdly as well, I needed the clock to start again because I needed to do a lot more work on myself to be a better person. And also, I wasn't super confident going into. If I had competed last year, I wouldn't have done as well. I was not confident in anything I was going to talk about. I just didn't have the lived experience to do that. And then that extra year allowed me to have that cooking time that I personally really needed.
I totally understand that. Had you competed last year, how many months preparation would you have had going into IML?
October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 8-ish, seven,
I
eight
was
months.
in the same position. I was in
It's
that position. And
yeah,
see what they're doing, they're going to hold the title back so it can give the Mr. Austin Eagle time to prepare. They want them to go through a full year and then compete, which I wish I had have had another 5 months.
yeah,
Because when I stepped on the stage, I'm like, man, I felt like cookie dough, dude. Cookie dough.
yeah,
Like
yeah. It was.
I didn't feel baked.
Yeah, it was it's something that we try to do as well, honestly, at the Eagle. After my conversation with our executive producer and the owner of the bar, I really was like, "Hey, I'm competing next year at IML. I think my kid should go to IML, experience IML for just go and be there, be part of the support team for me and get to watch the show and see what the show is and really understand what the show is." Um, and then come back the next year and compete. That's how I really wanted to start it because that like I'm like I get this bonus year now of getting ready and like giving them almost 20 months to get ready for IML would only help them. Unfortunately, he said no. Some of it was I think momentum from Jamal winning. He wanted two shots on that stage, which makes sense, but you know, it boiled down and I yeah, Dave unfortunately Dave didn't make top 20. And it really sucks because Dave's great. Dave's also an amazing person and it just sucks because and then also I didn't get to help Dave prep. because I was focused on my own prep. So now we have two people competing that are prepping different ways because we all of our stories are different. My team was different from Dave's team. My team was a lot of when I ran from Mr. SF Leather this past year as well. We were just working on we were building on what we had already done before, like 2 months before. So like my prep was different from his, and we could have been we could have been better preparing together, but it's how it boiled down, and that was a decision that our executive producer made, and we both really tried to get that changed, and he just said no, and that it happens.
You ran
Um,
race.
it's an ongoing conversation still to this day. 'Cause it's like, well, Alex did well and Jamal did well, but Jamal also, as the pup, had 10 months of prep. Even like you get double digits of in months of prep and you do better because you just have you have the legs in the community and what you're working on. And you have, more time to prep and think about things and really kind of categorize what you want to do and what you want to say and what you want your gear to look like. Whereas you win Mr. SF Eagle the weekend before Folsom, and then you're thrown into the deep end and told to paddle.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking y'all were gonna come in like Irene and Bosco on Drag Race, like sisters.
And I mean, Dave and I, we had a really good time together. It was, there was a lot of support going on. We were in two different groups, which was great. I really am happy that we were in two different groups. We got to be in two different groups. So I got to check in with him after all this stuff his interviews were done. Um, Saturday, I remember Saturday because my interview group was first. So he was worried about what he was going to wear for if he made top 20 for Pets and Personality round two. He goes, oh, I have this, I don't know. And I'm like, well, what else do you have? So we kind of went through things like, okay, let's get to the market and we're looking for the following two things. And so we are like power march them through the market. And it's like, we are not looking at those. We are looking for a jockstrap.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I kind of like hit him with stuff and I was like, move it. He goes, is this what you being a handler would have been like? I'm like, yes.
Oh, uh-oh. Like, was it freaking mommy
Mom was
dearest?
out.
Mommy
Yeah.
dearest. No wire hangers.
No wire hangers. But I mean, it was funny. Like, but it was really nice to like get to have that moment finally where I'm like, no, now I can help you do this. Like, I should have been helping you do this from the beginning, but yeah, the way the cookie crumbled.
With IML going live now, maybe this will help people have access to seeing what the contest is before. Because I had never been to the contest myself, so
Me either.
and I was contestant number one, and it was just all kinds of anxiety.
Yeah, I've always drawn one, and then when it wasn't me, I was like, thank God.
Everybody was like, there was like everyone was literally it was like hot potato. Nobody wanted it, so
No
whatever.
one wants one. It's
Um,
in there somewhere. We all know it's in there somewhere.
I did get to I did get to hang out with y'all's number one, Mr. Spain. Was I?
Yeah, Mr. Spain.
He was
He's
cool.
great. He's
Okay,
cool. He
so
did a lot of cool stuff too.
I hope to connect with him. Okay, so IML, we are now going into August. It's summertime, post IML. What is going on? I know Dory is coming up. I told you I won't be coming this year. I would have been 3 years in a row. How has your journey been? You got top 20. Where are you right now in your leather career?
I'm in a really good place right now in my career. My career actually started back in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I lived before I moved out here, and I competed twice out there for Mr. Pittsburgh Leather and then Mr. Pittsburgh Leather Bear back to back years right before the pandemic. So I really got a good basis there, but coming out here, winning Mr. SF Eagle really pushed my career in a bigger direction. Something that I work on a lot at the Eagle is making it more queer friendly with Drag Race, making sure that when Queer Leather Happy Hour is there, which is mostly a female, non-binary, queer, trans event, I make sure that I'm always there to make sure that they feel welcome and that if there's men waiting in the private bathroom line, I'm like, go do your fun things other places. The people with vaginas need to sit. and like move it. Um, so a lot of my work has been there. Yeah, I mean, I'm really focused on making the Eagle welcoming to everyone, and I'm now also one of the associate producers on our contests,
That's
and
fantastic.
that's taking up a lot of my time.
Hmm.
We launched a boot black contest this year. None of us have ever produced a boot black contest, but we launched one. And it went super well. We tapped into the resources of the committee's contacts to ask them about um, how a boot black contest should look, what details it should entail, especially just at a bar level. What are some of those rounds and questions should be asked? We put together a really good boot black contest. We had three contestants, none of them male identifying, which was amazing. We're like all the boys in the area kind of like, well, I'll see how it goes. And then they go, oh, that's what it is. I could do that. It's like, I was telling you that since the beginning. It's a bar contest. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fun. And it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to launch a boot black contest. We had the Miz contest in May. We have the pet contest next weekend, and then we have the Mister contest the weekend before Folsom. So
There's a lot of rich content here. I want to go back to Pittsburgh versus San Francisco. Now, Now I know Dan Bear, but Dan Bear's been on the show. That he was Mr. Pittsburgh. My only knowledge of Pittsburgh was Queers Folk when I was growing up as a kid.
which is not accurate because Queer as Folk is really Toronto. They filmed all of Queer as Folk in Toronto, and they
Okay.
just like slap Pittsburgh names on things.
So they also did a remake, but I haven't looked at that or
That
anything.
was in New Orleans. It was awful. It was not good. It wasn't good. Tried watching it and I was like, I don't there it was hard to like any of the characters, whereas in the original Queer as Folk, you always seem to find a character you identified with. That one I couldn't identify with any of them.
A combination
And
of characters.
yes. Like the more
Brian
yeah.
and okay, so did you find the local communities of Pittsburgh and San Francisco to be very different?
Yes,
In what
100%.
ways?
Um here in San Francisco, especially, the women's community is much more visible and present. In Pittsburgh, it's very small, if existing at all, or at least my exposure to them was very small. Um, here, because of Folsom and Dory, we have a lot more public acknowledgement of the leather community. Almost all of our leather bars are situated in the LGBTQ and leather cultural district. Um, And something that I was grilled on when I was interviewing as Mr. SF was my knowledge of women's and trans communities and their presence in the city. And to be fair, at that time, I didn't have a good concept of it, and that was something that was really called out on me and to be better at. So that's something I really jumped into, learning more about them. But they were in Pittsburgh. That just wasn't there. Their focus was, were you doing, it felt very more men's focused. And here in San Francisco, yes, there's men's focused questions and events and stuff, but you also have to understand that the leather community is also women and transgender and non-binary individuals. So I felt very a little out of depth, but it was because they were pushing me to be better, and that's something I push all of our contestants and our title holders to be, is just to be better, especially at the Eagle. It's like we're epicenter, like we need to be better.
So, you've been in, so you've been in like blue culture pretty much, though. You haven't
Yeah.
been in culture. Producing a leather contest. I had another instance. I recently got irked. I was having a great week last week, and it was riding this wave of all these great announcements. And then I shared an event innocently in my group of title holders here, and a cis woman, felt the need to say that I needed to do better and that the representation of my event wasn't satisfactory, and started going on about how I needed to be mindful of that. And it pissed me off because as a person
Mhm.
that also continually attacks leather contests for this whole call out culture we have right now. We're calling things out. And I find calling out to have become a tactic to embarrass. And I think there's a difference between saying, hey, where's the representation, and getting the answer to that question, as opposed to saying they don't have representation, they're not doing a good job, they don't care, all of that, because people don't see what's behind the scenes,
Mhm.
how much work you put in it. And Alex, baby, I know you went through it last year with your step down. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? How
Yeah.
dude, that burned me up, dude. I was your fucking backup when that whole deal. Do you see me? I was going off on the
Yeah.
chat for you. I sure the fuck was. I was.
Mhm.
Like, so what I'm trying to get at right now, Alex, is the amount of work that goes into producing a contest, and we do the best we can do with the resources that we have. They
Not just
fail
resources,
to
but
notice.
information. Mhm.
The thing is, though, before you criticize, you should go to an event to see what work has been done. They were
Mhm.
ignorant and didn't realize there was a trans woman on my flyer that had not transitioned yet.
Right.
So we ignorant now. You get what I'm saying? We being ignorant now.
Yeah, I think people on the internet like to, there are people that like to not search, like, yeah, search it up. They see something and they want to say something, which is great. And that's their right, but you call them out. And my thing has always been, if you try to come at me on the internet, I'm going to message you directly and I'm going to try and engage in conversation with you so I can understand your side of the story a little bit more. Because like, obviously, I want, not that I don't, I want to be, I want, everyone wants to be liked, but I want to also know where your feelings are about this so that I can be better, I can do better. um, and just make sure that everyone feels included to come to my event. And there's been events, that situation with my step down where no no answer was ever going to be enough except the answer that they wanted. Um, and it got really ugly, and that got really ugly. That really depressed. That actually really made me upset. Like I was just like, because the person that they're trying to cancel is a good friend of mine. And it was really hurtful that I had to work through that, and that I had to eventually remove a friend of mine from judging that I was really excited to have judged. um I weirdly ran into him at Pride. Yeah, I ran into the person who made the accusations at Pride, and I didn't realize who it was, and then I was like, okay. And it was at a party that a friend was hosting, and he kind of knew. I'm like, hey, that guy is the guy who like tried to cancel me right before I stepped down. He goes, oh, I know that. It's like it's fine. He goes, no, 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 no. Like, good to know. Like, I'll put him maybe on like a last, like maybe not something that we invite more frequently with us. I'm like, that's fine. Like, it's your party, like whatever. But it was just one of those moments where I'm like, I didn't realize it, and then I was like, oh, why are you here? Oh, and it like kind of ruined the party for me. So I was just like, because we haven't talked since that event. We haven't talked. Like I think I blocked him on some things too because it was getting too much, and I know that the bar blocked him from, I think, posting on their stuff because he wasn't just coming for people in the group chat or on social medias, but he's like posting things on the bar's announcements as well, and that crossed the line. There was a line that was being crossed, and the repeated request to have a civil discourse wasn't happening. And that's my thing. It's like we can have a civil discourse. I would love to have a civil discourse, but if you aren't going to give me that ability to have that civil discourse with you, I don't know what else to do with you. I don't, and like, and I can move on. I have pretty thick skin. I'll move on quickly and wash my hands of it, but it was hurtful and it really sucked. And it sounds like the same for you. It's like they just came for you because they saw something that they thought they didn't like, but they didn't have all the information.
Of course. And I think that's very diplomatic of you to want to reach out and do an olive branch. But I'm looking forward to you when you're done with the title stuff and you just do this. You see my middle finger?
I mean, privately, I was doing a lot of that. I was just like, why? Get the F away from me.
Dude, I've got to the point where I'm like, I just don't care. Like if you're not doing the work and you're coming for me,
Right. And it's just like, and to be fair, the person in question was a well-respected member of the community, and it just seemed like it was a breakup gone bad. And I think I saw the flurry of text messages that I received, where it was selective screenshots from one and then like a full screenshot from the other one. I was just like, y'all need to figure your shit out. And no, to be fair, no one in that disagreement seemed to be innocent of the whole thing. They both had problems, but like they broke up because they had problems. So I'm like, good, we're growth, moving on. But the fact that you're coming for me in my contest that I was producing, no. Like, don't drag my bar into it. They don't care. But they're like, I'm getting now text being like, what is all this?
my issue is that, like I said, you can attack my style, you can
Mhm.
focus on me all you want, but when you start going after the community's work that is beyond me, we have
Right.
that's personal. That's not for me. That's for everyone, and people
Right.
benefit off of our community work. What is your most passionate thing right now that you really want to push in the community?
I think just general acceptance because we right now and we need to protect our most vulnerable members. Like we're seeing in our group chat for the 47 class, one Dr. Nick, who's in Canada, he posted a photo with a gentleman whose gender marker was X, and the US government at border control didn't let him into the country. That's where we're at. Is that we are, the attacks on the transgender, non-binary community is great right now, and it's because they're easy picking, and it's after them is us. It doesn't matter who you are, what your skin tone is. To this government, the LGBTQ community is a threat to them, and they will want to silence us. So right now, my thing is trying to very much still kind of olive branching, but trying to make sure that we're not a divided community. Because if we're divided, we're easier to dismantle. I think Renee said it best in a speech, which was, it's easier to break us apart to devour us, but make them choke, something like that.
And
Um,
that's what
paraphrasing. Let's paraphrase Renee for a second, but it's so true. It's like if we're all these different factions, we're easier to dismantle and disappear and all this, that, and the other. But if we're united and we're a bigger whole, like there's a lot to be said about that.
um how do you feel about, in terms of how we treat each other internally in our community? I know we're talking about acceptance and not dividing, but I feel that we have this underlying culture of still that kind of mean girl energy where like we want to be Regina, well, they want to be Regina George. I always tell people I'm Lindsay Lohan in that movie. Became a mean girl, got my shit together, and broke them up. Like that's literally my every month. Okay, I'm breaking the mean girls up. Our community tends to supposed to be a community of uplifts and love. We got this big heart on a leather flag.
Right.
Do you find sometimes the actions of people in our community be hypocritical or contrary to what our community stands for?
Yeah, and I will admit that sometimes I need to check myself on that. It's like, was that productive? You know, yeah, I'm just, kicking with friends, but like, do I need to like spread that gossip behind that person's back or like talk down about that person that maybe I don't know fully well and maybe don't know what they're going through? So I think it's, some of the work is, personal work too. Like the work can start at home. Uh, and you can expand, I'm working on trying to do that as well so that, when I preach and not preach, but when I, say, let's be kinder to one another, that we are, it's something that's coming from a place of also my truth that is something I'm doing. Um, because it's hard and there are, deep seated, especially in San Francisco, which has such a deep seated history community, and we have a lot of amazing elders still here with us. Um, and, and they're also preaching unity because they've seen what has happened before. But some of these petty fights and feuds, and it's just like, why? What started it? It's like, oh, well, he did this to me 10 years ago. I'm like, that was over a decade ago. That was 2 administrations ago. What, who cares? Move on. Some
Oh,
of it is also just like, just move on. Like, how much brain space do you dedicate to that? Because honestly, I can't dedicate more than like 5 seconds to anything anymore. My brain is fried. Uh, it's like,
that's fair.
so
I
some of
agree.
it is just like, how much is it, did they take money from you? Did they steal property from you? If they didn't do any of that, I think you maybe should look in trying to move on that. And I'm not any sort of therapist. I'm just like, maybe it's time to move on.
Well, that's mental health. And if we're holding, this is
Mhm.
still, you can hold on. You can be mad about something that happened 10 years ago and kind of forget that it was that big of a deal, but you're still like not going to this place because of what happened a decade ago.
Right,
And it literally can be like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Like,
right,
or we had a misunderstanding, but you hold a grudge for 10 years. And that
mhm,
10 years within our community of holding grudges hurts our community. It
right,
hurts opportunities to come together. Like we are saying, I got to go spend some time with Dr. Ty in Houston a couple of
mhm,
weeks ago, and we were just talking about segregation in the community and
right,
how, the territorial, like if you work at this bar, you can't go do this at this bar. And we really, 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 if we're not going to tackle that, Alex, we're not trying to change. Because I think that there are two things in our community I think that are detrimental to our future that we're not doing anything about right now: making queer businesses friendly towards each other, help each
right.
other be successful, and defamation.
Mhm.
Defamation is a crime, Alex. In our community, it happens all the
All
time,
the time.
and no one's been made a lesson out of yet. And I think
Mhm.
that's why these things continue to go. Oh, when you go and slander somebody to the fact that it hurts their business, that's defamation. If you're even going around and talking about someone's HIV status, that's defamation. Like,
And also a HIPAA violation.
you know what I'm saying? And we are allowing that mean energy to continue in our community. And
Right,
if we don't check these things, we're never going to get past it. But these are toxic behaviors that actually eat at the core of our community. So,
correct.
do you feel me? I mean, don't you?
Yeah, no, I think it's all true. It's something that when I got my title, something that I started to try doing more was, yes, the Eagle's my home bar. It's the bar I'm at all the time. My second home bar is the Edge, which is just around the corner from where I live here in the Castro. That does musical Sunday, Mondays, and Wednesdays. So I go there frequently. But was to try to go over to Powerhouse more. And so a couple of people were like, maybe you can start being that branch of going to the powerhouse more and showing some support also for the other primarily leather queer bar in the city. The stud hadn't reopened yet, but just so it's something I started to do as well, as especially if a friend is hosting an event or something, I go over to support them as well at powerhouse because they do the same a lot for me at the Eagle. Like when drag race season starts up, they're always, some of the powerhouse kids are the first ones there. They're like, we're gonna watch drag race. We might not be here every week, but we'll come to the first one. It's like, that's great. Because the first one means I don't get canceled. If we have a good crowd, I don't get the plug pulled on me.
Plug pulled on you. No. You've been watching it.
It's now an institution. I can't get rid of it. Oh.
Have you been watching Drag Race this season?
Yes, so I host one of my projects for my telly year was hosting RuPaul's Drag Race at the bar, which is part of that process of opening the bar up to more friendlier faces and also introducing people to the Eagle. One of the first weekends of Drag Race last year, we had a lot of people that had never been to Eagle, but they saw an ad on Scruff and they're like, "Oh, let's go watch Drag Race at the Eagle. We haven't been there in a long time," and they loved it. And so it became this weird like super safe space event for people to come to Eagle, and then they stick around for the event afterwards, and a lot of people have a lot of fun, which is great.
So
But yeah,
I should be having this conversation with drag queens. I probably will, but since we're on the topic, we got about 5 minutes here.
yeah, yeah,
I wanted I'm because we brought RuPaul's Drag Race. So listen to me, okay? Okay. Toxic fandom. Okay.
Oh, 100%.
So my issue here is I used to love RuPaul so much, especially in the early days.
Right.
I think somewhere around like season
Nine.
13 was really cutting.
Oh,
About it just it I used to really believe RuPaul was if you can't love yourself, who the hell all that, and now I'm watching someone, I'm like, this is a business person
it's been,
and they
yeah,
don't care about this is my issue with this show right now because everyone looks at RuPaul's Drag Race as some kind of like litmus test of where our culture is and what we're exposed to. And my thing is that this culture of wanting to go on television and be a villain. I'm kind of done with the making a TV show type of thing. Look, this is how I feel. I feel like RuPaul and Tyra Banks are about on the same level with the way they treat their contestants.
correct. I
Um,
think I think somewhere, I think RuPaul's Drag Race became a business somewhere around season nine when it moved from Logo TV, which is a passion project network for the gay community, for the
Passion
LGBTQ.
Project Network. I need to be on that network.
um, I mean, it's a little engine that could. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where I saw my first gay stuff was we got part of our satellite TV programming, so I'd watch it at home late at night by myself. Um, it moves from logo to VH1, and that's when it became a business because now we're on network television. We are now network television. We are in most people's living rooms. Now it's a business. And at that time, right before season nine as well, the first 8 seasons dropped on Hulu as well as All Stars 1 and 2. That was a business move by the company, by VH1 World of Wonder to get more people interested in the show before it premieres on VH1. It is a business first and foremost. Drag Race is a business. I do agree people going on to RuPaul's Drag Race as knowing that they're going to be the villain is not right. And I'm just like, why are you like what are you winning by this? Like, what am I like? Well, let's just talk about this season real quick. Mistress Isabel Brooks is the worst. It truly is the best example of this worst behavior that I've seen in many seasons of Drag Race,
I agree.
where there is no redeeming quality to their story arc in the entire show, and they have some good looks and they're doing well, but it's like the first episode, MVP, the most valuable queen point giveaway, where instead of being Kumbaya, everyone gets a point the first week, which is, to be fair, I think fair. Like that would have been a really fair thing to do. She conspires with Georges to have this like steal the points so that they get 2 points so they're on the board. Because well, she goes, well, I think I deserve it. And then this past week where she was super sore loser the entire time because she was in the bottom two, it's like, girl, you're in the top nine of a All Stars bracket. Like everyone here is also, for the most part, pretty damn good at drag too. Calm the F down. And so I'm just in this behavior, in this sore loserness, and like this weird energy. I was like, get this off my television. I really, so, and yes, we love the villain. Like I loved playing Jane last year,
I
but it
think
was,
villain stuff
she
is
was, she was great. She was like campy villainy, but also at the same time, every so often she'd have a moment where she would help someone out. Like there'd be like a slight, like, oh, let me actually help you do that because you can't, like, you're not doing well on that. So I
she's
think it's always interesting.
honest, and she doesn't go out to seek to hurt into the like
Right. And Mistress went out to
like a
hurt
shank.
people.
Like Mistress
Yeah.
was shanking people for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't even like to.
Correct.
I don't like to pinpoint and focus on the character, and I don't want to. But what I'm trying to say, and we're hitting the same point. I don't want that on my television because, especially with the way our community is right now,
Hmm.
we need to see people going on our mainstream outlets and showing the best of what we can do. And I don't think RuPaul's Drag Race is showing the best of our community.
Yeah, it's hard. And someone's always like, well, are you gonna go see so and so Rupaul when they're in town? Like, no, I'd rather go see some of our local queens because some of them do
Be
super cool
honest,
things.
I mean, yeah.
Like, I'd rather go
Be
see some of
honest.
our local queens.
I think of my local queens as the celebrities, as the
Mm,
heroes. I just know that my relationship with like I stopped watching this season actually after bracket three because I was
yeah.
just like, what am I watching? Why would you create a whole season to crown somebody? Just fucking. I don't understand that, and it's so obvious that the brackets were made a certain way to help certain event, but Ginger's bracket that was pure just shit. And
Yeah.
by that is the challenges that they gave those contestants.
The challenges were
Cynthia Fontaine.
very uneven. Yeah.
Cynthia Lee Fontaine, that is my girl. She lives here in Austin. She is a amazing person, and you've got people attacking her on social media. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
she did a good. She did so much better this time around than
Right.
she did in the prior two
I
seasons.
will say that. I will say that
So
this is
was she
probably one of
not
her best showings on that
deserving?
show.
I think that yeah, she didn't win a challenge. She should have won. If she could have been in the top two, like on that second challenge for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
So this is where you get into what is the best business decision for RuPaul. Ginger is hosting Drag. Ginger said my name at the Las Vegas review. Ginger's doing the work, and RuPaul wants to crown people that are doing the work
Doing the work.
for
For
her,
them.
for her.
For the business.
For her. And her and George's are doing like and, and she know and there's something with her and like Hispanic queens she just will not elevate like she'll put Hispanic queens on and they just don't get their edits really bother me a lot of times and so I thought it was very rigorous to put Alyssa and Cynthia in that bracket and have the type of challenges that they have. I thought it
Yeah.
was super sketchy. So we're
And
going into this way too much. I'm gonna let you comment on it one more time. We need to have a panel on this for sure. But it's somewhat but what you're doing is that many people are hosting these drag race shows across the bars. You do that.
Mhm.
This is something of the community. And I'm just bringing this to you because I feel like I think these two things need to happen. RuPaul needs to show that he cares about these queens. Post show, especially. I think RuPaul needs to come out and put the fans in check. Stop sending all this unnecessary hate. Stop telling queens to go kill themselves if you don't like them. Stop devaluing somebody's drag. I will agree with this. There are people that are TV show personalities and there are drag superstars on that show, and there's a difference.
right.
If I
There's a
can't,
big
I
difference
don't
on
think
some of them.
about your drama and not what you're wearing or your performance, then you are not a good drag queen to me. So that being said, Alex, okay, we are towards the end here. Is there anything else that you feel in our community that we need to shed light on that we normally do not shed enough light on?
Oh, I think especially the women's leather community needs a lot more light shed on them. They are our backbones. They're the ones that took care of us during the AIDS crisis, and we need to remember that. I think sometimes as male presenting individuals, we forget that, and that's something that we should really shed light on. And as well as our boot blacks. Our boot blacks are amazing. They keep us looking great. Like I love that, Renee up with Black One IML. I think that was a great moment for that community. And so supporting those two groups, which have overlap too, by the way, reminder, is really important. So I really want to spotlight them, make sure that they know that they are seen by the men's community because they are important. They belong in our space just as much as we belong as they belong in our space as much as we belong in our space.
So, we are at the end, Alex. I am glad you're on here. I definitely like to have you back on. We need to figure out something, maybe put a panel together.
Yeah,
I
just let me know.
I want to be in touch with you because I got some cool stuff I want to talk to you about later
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
So, Alex, you got one thing left to do. I'm gonna count to three, and you're going to say if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right.
Great.
You ready?
Yes.
One, two, three.
If you're not throwing like you're not acting right.
There you go. You got it.
There we go.
All right. Well, that's it, y'all. Thank y'all for another episode of Throwing Light, and I'll see you next week.